We are talking about you couples who have done all the right things on paper. You've gone to therapy, you've read a book or two, you've had the painful, near constant, we really need to fix this conversation. Maybe you've even tried scheduling sex and it just made everyone feel more awkward. And still, you are lying in bed at night feeling more like roommates than lovers, wondering what is wrong with your relationship if you are going to get out of this. You are a great parenting team. You love each other. You coordinate soccer practice and dentist appointments like pros, but you cannot, for the life of you, figure out how to solve this whole sex thing. I have been there, my loves. This is why I do this work. And if you are asking yourself how to solve that problem and you've been debating joining the Naked Fun comeback, then I want to walk you through some of the most common worries and hurdles that I hear from people to see if I can support you to say a really true, full-blooded yes to yourselves and to the relationship that you want to have this year in 2026. So often I hear from people, therapy didn't fix this. Why will this work? Or we don't have time. We can barely get 10 minutes alone. My partner's hesitant. Can I even do this if they're not 100% on board? What even is intimacy coaching anyways? And are we actually broken, or is this just what long-term marriage with kids looks like? Let's unpack and break that down today and figure out whether joining the Naked Fun comeback is right for you in this season. It is open week on the Naked Fun comeback, which means between today and Thursday this week, you have a chance to say yes to your marriage and decide that this summer is the summer that's going to change the trajectory of your relationship. So often I talk to couples who have gone to couples counseling. That's literally like the number one thing people have done, if they have done anything at all. Okay. And usually the response is, it kind of helped with communication, but our sex life still feels off. Will this be any different? And for a lot of people, I also hear that therapy set us back, that it did damage. So here's the thing, and I say this with a ton of respect for therapists. Most couples therapy is not designed to teach you the skills of intimacy, okay? It is designed to help you process conflict, heal old hurts, and maybe understand each other's childhoods and attachment patterns. All super valuable, all super useful. I have an episode on what I learned in couples counseling if you ever want to know. And having a great couples counselor on your team is so important, but it doesn't automatically translate into knowing how to flirt with each other again after you've seen each other throw up, give birth, change diapers, and melt down about the school email. It does not help you know how to read your partner's I'm open cues versus their I'm exhausted and touched out cues. It doesn't teach you how to know what your body needs to feel safe, turned on, and actually enjoy sex instead of just having get it over with sex. And it doesn't treat intimacy as a skill set, essentially. We treat intimacy and the skills of intimacy like breathing air, like it should just happen naturally. If we love each other enough, this whole sex thing is just supposed to work. But it's actually a set of learnable and repeatable skills. The skill of making another person feel safe and seen. The skill of communicating about sex, about what we want, about what we need, about what we desire, without anyone shutting down or getting defensive. The skill of paying attention to our own body's signals and knowing how to ask for what we need or hear a no without shutting down and freaking out. The skill of creating pressure-free, playful connection that doesn't have to lead to sex, that doesn't feel transaction, but makes getting to the bedroom easier. This is what we do inside of the Naked Fun comeback, designed specifically for busy parents in perimenopause with all kinds of body changes happening, okay? This is not about becoming dripping wet sex goddesses that have 2-hour tantra sessions. We will get there, my friends. This is about going from we rarely do it and it's awkward AF when we do to it's happening more consistently and it is easy and seamless and fun when we do. From there, we can go and get wild. In this program, we don't just talk about intimacy, we practice it literally in tiny, doable ways. So week by week with curated date nights and guided activities with scripts. So you're not sitting there like, so or you're not wondering how to say something in a way that lands. With nervous system friendly rituals so that your bodies can actually catch up to your brains when your brain says, I want to. So if therapy helped you fight less, but you're still not having the sex or the daily connection that you want, then I want you to know that's not a you problem. It just means that you haven't been given the intimacy skill set yet. And that is literally what the Naked Fun Comeback has been designed to do. And if you have a couples therapist on your team, yay! And this work pairs very well with couples therapy. Next common concern is we don't have time, okay? We are held hostage in our own home by our kids. We are never alone except after 8:30 when we've done a drag 'em out bedtime battle. We are exhausted. There is so much going on. What do we do? So this is where I want to say yes and, okay? Yes and two things. Most of the couples I talk to who say that at first admit to me out loud that they're spending 3 to 5 nights a week in front of the television together, mindlessly scrolling for at least 30 minutes. I want to ask you, what could happen if you swapped just one of those nights for a night of connection where almost as mindlessly as you watch TV, you just turn on the activity, press play, and follow along, okay? This is what Steve and Nicole did. They actually swapped out 2 nights a week. And now they feel more connection. They feel more open to a yes. Sex is happening more frequently and the quality of sex that they're having feels better, okay? You do not need hours and hours of free time. I have made this as realistic as I can possibly make it for your busy life. Yes, sometimes there's a season that doesn't work. And if you need to put a pin in this until the fall, go for it, okay? But if you've got 30 minutes a week to have an interactive guided date night together, not all of them sexual, okay? Not all of them require doors locked privacy, and 30 minutes to listen to a podcast lesson a week, plus some time for optional additional group coaching if that's what you want to participate in, and like deeper live somatic exercises and workshops, then you can do this, okay? You can do this because your marriage needs it, because your marriage depends on it, because your marriage will feel better, because actually getting to a place where sex fills you and fuels you and helps to alleviate the stress in your life means you might be reaching for that phone and reaching for that zone out TV less than you are now, okay? So I just want you to imagine that I get to curate your next 16 date nights, okay? And by the end of that process, you've gone from things feeling awkward and heavy and messy to easy and fun and playful and connected. I want you to think of this as a journey for both of your nervous systems to go from sex is rote, ritual, boring, not fun, not safe, not relaxing, to this is easy, effortless, and actually a good time that fuels me. We are not forcing ourselves, okay? But these date nights are the same as showing up to the yoga mat or showing up to the workout, right? You don't really want, so we need a little bit of force to show up to the mat, but we're so glad we did once we did it. And actually, Judd and Emily, who joined the program the first time they did the date night, there was that resistance and that discomfort showing up the first time. And he wrote me and said, we both felt more relaxed, more connected, more landed after we did that simple ritual, okay? This whole program's got a la carte date menus, flirt menus, all the fun things where I have done my best to take the mental load out of this so that you just press play and follow along. You are already investing time in something. Every night is a choice to put a penny in the connection jar with yourself and with your partner, or a penny in the jar of disconnection, distance, and ultimately probably divorce for 1 in 5 couples. You get to choose. This program makes making the choice easy because you don't have to choose connection and then decide what that connection is. You choose connection, you press play, you follow along. So the question is the time that you are spending moving you towards the marriage that you actually want by the end of this year? All right. What do we do when one partner is like, yes, done, I'm in, and the other person is like either hesitant or doesn't know about it yet? So here's the deal, okay? You can sign up solo. Absolutely. You can be the one who takes the lead. You can be the one who dives deep on all of the lessons. What you need in order to be successful in this program is your partner's willingness to show up to the weekly date nights and do the activities. And that's exactly what happened to Alex and Lisa. Okay. Alex signed up solo. He was like, I can show up differently. I will learn something, helps me deal with my side of the equation. And several weeks in, Lisa was like, could you queue up that date night that I so enjoy? Could you line up that breathwork video that really helps me to relax? This is what we want to create. You get the program for a year. So even if it takes a little while for your partner to jump on board, to see the changes, to see the shifts in you, you still have all of those date nights for a full 12 months. You can implement them anytime. You can come back and visit them anytime. The number one thing I want you to remember here is you only get to control you. And by doing this program or doing this program in the solo bits, you are going to understand sex differently. You're going to understand your partner differently. You're going to understand your partner's resistance differently. You're going to start talking about sex differently. And you are going to be in charge of changing your half of the equation. We cannot control your partner. You do need to be at a level where they're willing to at least try some of these activities, to show up with curiosity to them in order to see the result and have the success. But if you are willing to take the lead and your partner is willing to give it a shot, then yes, you can join, you can have success, just like Alex and Lisa did, just like some of my other couples did. If you're feeling resistance fear from your partner, if they're nervous that this is about you trying to fix them, if they're nervous this is going to be like therapy again, I invite you to share this episode with them or share a podcast episode with them. I invite you to remind them like, hey, I want to tackle this as a team, us against the problem. This is not about me fixing you. This is about us learning skills together. And what if we just show up to a curated date night once a week where we try something different and we see what happens? Okay. This is the invitation here. We are out of the blame game and we are into us against the problem. All right. So what is intimacy coaching anyways? And how is it different than therapy? We've talked about this a little bit already, but what is the added expertise of an intimacy coach? So I want you to think of it like therapy is going to a general physician who helps you to understand what's going on in your whole system, maybe treats some old injuries and gets your baseline health up. Intimacy coaching, especially inside of this program, is like working with a specialist who is here to help you with a very specific set of muscles, like a pelvic floor physio, for example, to teach you the skill set, the muscle set of playful connection and sustainable desire after kids. We are unpacking and looking at our mindsets and our perspectives about sex, our mindsets and our perspectives around pleasure. We are looking at sexual anatomy and how to actually take people to Pleasure Town. We are looking at premature ejaculation or erectile dysfunction and when we get in our head and we're not able to land in our bodies during sex, okay? This is an entire cycle from initiating, transitioning to playtime, making playtime as crave-worthy as possible, and debriefing, communicating about our sex lives in a way where we can build a manual for what works for us now. So inside of the Naked Fun Comeback, we are not diagnosing you. We are not labeling you as broken. We are not making you rehash your worst fights every week. We are instead giving you what I call the Naked Fun cycle, right? A 4-phase system for learning the skills of intimacy that are going to help you have playful and fun pleasure, right? So we're learning that safe simmer where we're moving out of roommate mode with pressure-free flirting and daily micro connection. We are mastering the art of the transition ritual where we know how to get ourselves out of busy parent mode into landed lover mode. A lot of lower libido parents have no freaking clue how to do this for themselves anymore. We're going to hack that for you. We're mastering the art of crave-worthy connection and learning how to initiate in a kind, confident, and playful way. We are learning how to have sex that actually feels fabulous instead of performative. And we are building this on communication and habits that get baked into our busy lives so that it doesn't just evaporate once the program ends. Now, sex doesn't just happen in a vacuum, which is why I'm doing special bonus workshops on the mental load, on self-leadership and emotional regulation, on healing trauma in the body and handling big feelings during sex, because I want you to have everything you need to connect back to your erotic self, to help each other through the hard feels, and to know how to do this, right? So if therapy helped you to talk nicer, but not touch more, laugh more, flirt more, or enjoy sex more, then this is the missing piece, okay? I know it's easy to feel like you've been burned before. I know it's easy to feel like you've spent money and it hasn't done anything before. And just a reminder, right? We have all burnt our hands and gone back into the kitchen. Your relationship is worth fighting for. Your relationship is worth continuing to find different solutions for. And the couples who join me are seeing results. They are seeing change. Sex is easier. It's easier to talk about. It's more connected. It's more fun. And that is what we are looking for. Okay. A couple of things before I wrap up here. Are we weird? And is everyone else okay? I want to normalize this before we wrap. You are not the only couple struggling with this. Actually, about 90% of parents, especially with kids aged 3 to 12 and even older, are in some version of the roommate trap. Doubly so if you're in perimenopause or postmenopause, okay? They're avoiding sex, or one partner is feeling constantly rejected, or sex is happening, but it feels like obligation or desire, or it's rote and routine and boring. So many of them are not talking about it, or they're joking about married life and we're so tired. But under the surface, there's a lot of grief and shame. There's a lot of feeling broken on both sides. There's a lot of feeling not enough on both sides, and there's a lot of feeling too much on both sides. I need you to hear that your marriage is not uniquely defective, okay? You were in a season where no one ever taught you how to protect your connection from the mental load and the chaos, where no one ever taught you how to reignite desire when everyone is exhausted and touched out, and no one taught you how to build intimacy as a practice, not a lightning bolt. Okay? The hard truth that I want to say with love is that you basically have three choices. Okay? You do nothing and hope it gets better when the kids are older, when perimenopause is over, when the stressful job has ended, whenever, which for most couples just means the gap grows wider. We get out of the habit. It feels more uncomfortable, more awkward, more weird, harder, and less like accessible, less approachable. The reality is that 1 in 5 couples who end up divorce not because anything was wrong in their relationship except for sex. They could not figure out the sex part. That's option 2, right? We've got distance and discomfort in our relationship. We've got actual divorce, or you get to choose today to be the 1% of couples who decide that you are actually going to learn the skills that nobody ever taught you so that you can have the relationship that you want to have. Okay? If you are listening and there's this little voice that's saying, maybe our marriage could look different, I'm thinking about it. If I have niggled at you a little bit, I want you to really sit with how different could your relationship look before school starts next year, where you just had to show up to a weekly date night where I tell you what to do. Okay? We're going to go from busy parents to present lovers in an alive, thriving relationship, 10 years and 3 kids, or 25 years and 6 kids in, no matter where you are. So, it's open cart week. What does that mean? That means if you are in, you have a couple options. I'm running a workshop this Thursday where I will go through all the details so you really get a sense of whether this is the right choice for you. And you can ask me any questions live on that workshop, on that call, or DM me, send me an email. I will send you all the details, okay? It's 16 short, digestible weekly lessons, 16 interactive date nights. We have a live kickoff and closing celebration and bi-weekly live coaching and implementation calls, all with replays. We've got bonus workshops on the mental load, on self-leadership, on trauma-informed pleasure, and so many juicy things like my big feelings protocol, where you can handle conflict without spiraling, my guided audios to help you reconnect to your erotic self, as well as bonus curated date nights that you can keep any time. The link to the workshop is in the show notes. I will see you there. I am so excited to welcome you into a community of parents who give a shit about their marriage, who are saying fuck no to the status quo of low grade hating each other while having kids, and instead choose to step into learning the skills of love so they can role model them to their kids. See you soon, my loves. Bye.